how-to video on how to replace your kitchen knobs with pulls. So we have the Richelieu, they're like squared off ones that are satin nickel. At Lowe's or Home Depot, you can get this template, way better than eyeballing it. And essentially all you have to do is, we didn't drill in the top one, but you can just see how they look. You don't even have to fully commit to it. Just back out the screw that's behind there and you can try one out to see, and then you can judge for yourself and look at it. Hey, does that look, which one do you like better? And we like the pulls better. So what I'm gonna do is it's actually pretty awesome. You don't even have to remove this one. You can kind of turn it like that, and I believe the template will fit. Actually, maybe not, or you can do it from the back. And you just need to put that top one in, and then you're kind of good to go. The ones that are in the center of like a bank of drawers are a lot more tricky, because if you want to put a pull here, you're going to be left with a hole here, and then you're going to have to use like a wood filler or whatnot. Bank of drawers like this with double is pretty easy because it's not in the middle, but then you have two options. You can put it like this, or you can rotate it and put it like that. So whatever works for your distances and whatnot. One could feel way too close, one could feel way too far, so you just gotta judge which direction you want your pull. So if the templates don't exactly match to your cabinet company's, like what their template is, you can still use this as a pretty good guide, right? If I put this at the bottom, it doesn't really match up here. This one here is close, so I'd be able to mark inside that hole and go a little bit to that side and just make sure it's level between, and then that one will go to the top. So that's where the pull will go to, bottom, and that one's the top. So because our cabinets were a bit weird, what I ended up doing is using the existing or the purchased template, just basically drawing a circle there, lining up the new one, and then drilling a hole to mark it. So a little bit off, but at least now still using the template that has this line up thing, which means the world, because then you know it's going to be hopefully level if you have your measurements right. First one turned out pretty nice, luckily. When you're doing this, don't be too discouraged if you think that one is higher than the other. In this case, you can kind of tell that this one is a little bit higher than that one, and that's because the cabinets are not lined up. You can fix that by adjusting your screws to drop and raise and stuff like that, so don't worry about that too much. Your main concern with knobs to pulls is it's always going to be exactly the same length, right? It's more about, are they level? That's what you need to be concerned with. If you put the hole to here, obviously it's gonna look pinched in or pulled out. Also, while you move from cabinet to cabinet, it's a good idea to have a drop cloth and vacuum. All right, so got that one done, looking okay. Hello. This one's looking good as well. So here's the modified template there, the top hole and the bottom hole. Because every cabinet's a little bit different, even though they're milling and using machines and whatnot. What's up, little buddy? My helper. Is even though you go ahead and put the little mark, I still think it's worth, lining this up, the hole with it, and then putting it. I know it's eyeballing it, but it's still always worth a second sanity check before you actually put the hole in. Now the other thing you can do is when you're tightening the screws in the back here, before that last tighten, you can twist it a little bit this way or a little bit that way. You have some little give. Like if you install this one and let's say it's like Okay, that's a bad example because that's a hole. You install it and it's like this. You can crank it a little bit like that when you screw it in the back to make it. So we're talking like 5 degrees of wiggle room, so not very much at all, but it's worth noting. You can kind of crank it this way or crank it that way before you screw it in. So with pot drawers like these, you have 2 options really. You can go in or you can go out. In our case, we're gonna go out. Just makes it look a little bit more high-end or nice instead of if they're like close together. So what I found that works is, because a template won't work, especially on the humongous pot drawers, is you have a level like this, right? That is kind of like buoyancy level, right? It was actually pretty awesome. Right here, I put it up to the end, and it actually measures right here where I put that pencil mark. So what you do, put that right in the middle, and then you have to make sure that this thing teeters properly. And then I guess you can't see it, but I did put a pencil mark there. And then always just do another sanity check. I guess you can see the pencil mark in the video now. Is that it? Now I can't tell. I guess it is that. Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be really good. So we'll see how pot drawers look after. So the pot drawers and pot side drawer turned out pretty nice. Got those guys done down there. We're keeping the knobs because we haven't really figured out what to do if we want to put the 2 and then patch it. Looks good on the bottom. Yeah, so really easy, take your time, and they can look pretty awesome.